2, 1.
Alright, now on to the subject of knowledge or understanding of the world. According to James Sire's definition of atheistic existentialism, and their answer to this worldview question, the objective world may be knowable by logic and science, but the self is removed by from any such analysis. Basically, it doesn't matter what an individual thinks or believes is true, and we gain knowledge of the world around us by scientific observation, not by any sort of revelation. According to the Christian theistic set of beliefs, we can have adequate knowledge of the world and God because God has endowed this capability, or this capacity, and has revealed himself. Man has some knowledge through both general and special revelation. So we have the revelation of God in Christian theism versus observation and logic in atheistic existentialism. So in a note at the bottom of the worldview chart, it is explained that the adherents of the worldview that we are discussing also hold to the basic tenets of naturalism. This next quote is pulled from the naturalism column because, frankly, I think it makes a whole lot more sense. So, in regard to ethics, he says that ethical values are man-made and situational, created by consensus by humans. It's posited by some, such as a scholar named Donald Campbell in an article published by the American Psychological Association, that altruism, or even just morality in general, are social constructs that allow us humans to survive. For example, we think murder is wrong because if everyone went around killing everyone else, it wouldn't really be beneficial to the survival of our species. In contrast, those who see the world through the lens of Christian theism believe that morality is based on the character of God as good, holy, and loving. Some moral principles are universal, and some are given by special or general revelation. So, we have here based on the character of God versus man-made or relative values. Alright, so about death. This quote is it's also taken from the naturalist column. So, according to the atheist, physical death, and Sire's atheist, not just like a regular random atheist, physical death means the extension of the consciousness, personality, and individuality. It is added in the atheist column that death may be seen as a sort of absurdity, though most atheists would probably not describe it that way, because it's actually very logical in the way that the body just wears out and shuts down, and that it should be faced boldly. In the Christian worldview, it is believed that the soul, that is, the essence of a human being, is immortal and will exist either in the presence of God or in eternal separation from God, depending on the person's relationship with Christ. So we have eternal life or separation versus extinction of identity. That one's a bit more depressing. But anyway, on to human history and purpose. From the Christian perspective, history is linear and serves to fulfill the purposes of God. It is guided by God's providence and intervention. From the atheistic point of view, history is also linear, but neither individual nor human history as a whole matter, because in the end, every person dies and ceases to exist. And there's the possibility that we could even go extinct, and then it would really not matter. So, however, I might point out that Richard Dawkins in The God Delusion describes human existence by the processes of natural selection without any divine interference as very beautiful and seems to marvel at it quite a bit. Finally, on to human purpose. In atheistic existentialism, or rather according to that belief system, or according to the adherents of that belief system, there we go, there is no real purpose in life as it is all oriented toward the self. So you can live it up, help other people, it doesn't really matter. To the Christian, the idea is to seek the kingdom of God. So, in my final segment, I will discuss how a Christian leader may best interact with people who hold an atheistic worldview. Keep in mind this is entirely based on a certain opinion, and that opinion is my own. I think the first step in interacting with those who hold the aforementioned worldview, in case you slept through the first couple of videos, the view is atheistic existentialism, is understanding why they believe what they believe. It's not that they hate God or have suffered through some great emotional trauma regarding God. It's just that they believe it's extremely unlikely that a God, gods, or any sort of divinity exists. I will illustrate this point momentarily with a short excerpt from the works of Bertrand Russell, who is a renowned atheist. It also probably isn't best for a Christian leader to debate every atheist they come in contact with. It really doesn't accomplish anything and kind of upsets people. And as we will see in a moment, it's also quite annoying to atheists who have Christians always demanding they prove their position. So, what I've been talking about is this next bit is called The Parable of the Celestial Teapot by Bertrand Russell. So, Russell says that many Orthodox people speak as though it were the business of skeptics to disprove received dogmas rather than of dogmatists to disprove them. And of course, he's referring to the dogmas as religion and dogmatists as the followers of religions. He says that this, of course, is a mistake. He says, if I were to suggest that between the Earth and Mars there's a Chinese teapot revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit, Nobody would be able to disprove my assertion, provided that I were careful to add that the teapot is too small to be revealed even by our most powerful telescopes. But if I were to go on to say that, since my assertion cannot be disproved, it is an intolerable presumption on the part of human reason to doubt it, I should rightly be thought to be talking nonsense. If, however, the existence of such a teapot were affirmed in ancient books, taught as a sacred truth every Sunday, and instilled into the minds of children at school, hesitation to believe in its existence would become a mark of eccentricity and entitle the doubter to the attentions of the psychiatrist in the Enlightened Age or of the Inquisitor in an earlier time. So it can be gathered from this little section of his works that, aside from what has been said earlier, in America some atheists feel like they're persecuted, and so it's probably wise, as a Christian leader, to take extra care when interacting with someone of an atheistic persuasion so as to avoid threatening them. And on the subject of not threatening people, it is especially unhelpful when talking to an atheist to attempt to convert them. This is just my opinion. But because they've probably spent quite a bit of time working out their beliefs and have a solid intellectual backing for them, it would just be best for you to love them and just act as a friend to them. Especially if your conversion attempt involves something as desperate as Pascal's wager, which Dawkins completely slams in his works. In summary, if you're a Christian interacting with an atheist, just be a kind and considerate person, and don't do anything that they interpret as forcing, like they say that a lot of times when you talk about your religion, that you're forcing it on them. And someday you might discover that they're also human beings. Have a good day.